In today's video, we're going to walk through how to use NordVPN's split tunneling feature so you can control which apps run through the VPN and which ones do not. What's up, you guys? My name's Ashley, and even if you've never used split tunneling before or you're not super technical, I'm going to explain this in a very simple way. We're going to talk about what it does, how to turn it on, and when you should actually use it. Okay, let's get into it. So what split tunneling actually is. So before we talk about how to actually do this, I want you to fully understand what split tunneling actually does, because once you know why it matters, it becomes super easy to use. So split tunneling lets you choose which apps use the VPN connection and which apps stay on your normal internet connection. That means instead of forcing your whole device to use the VPN, you can actually divide traffic. Certain apps will be protected and encrypted while others will run normally. Think of it like having two internet lanes. One lane is private and secure, that is your VPN tunnel, and the other lane is your regular connection. Split tunneling allows you to put certain apps into the private lane and keep others in the normal lane. The biggest takeaway is that you get flexibility. You're no longer stuck choosing between VPN on for everything or VPN off completely. You get to choose what matters most to you in the moment: privacy, speed, or access to specific servers. Now, why you would use split tunneling? Now let's talk about real life situations where split tunneling actually helps. This way, as you start using it, you'll know exactly why you might turn it on. So one of the most common reasons is for streaming. Some streaming services either block VPN traffic or behave differently when a VPN is on. For example, sometimes Netflix or Amazon Prime Video will restrict content libraries or give you errors. So instead of disconnecting your VPN completely, split tunneling lets you run only the streaming app outside the VPN while everything else stays secured. Another reason is online banking. Many banking apps will flag connections coming from foreign servers or VPNs because they have fraud protection systems. Split tunneling lets you keep your banking app outside the VPN so it loads correctly. You might also want this for gaming. If you play games and want the lowest possible ping or fastest connection, you can let the game bypass the VPN while still keeping the rest of your device protected. It's also great for local devices like smart home systems. Some devices on your home network, like printers or local streaming devices, do not work well behind a VPN tunnel. Split tunneling keeps them reachable. And finally, you might want it for speed. If you only need the VPN for one specific thing, like a browser window for private browsing, letting everything else run normally keeps your speeds high. So this is not something that you must use, but when you need it, it makes your internet feel smoother and more flexible. Okay, now how to actually turn on split tunneling in NordVPN. The flow is very similar on Windows and Android, but if you're on a Mac or iOS, keep listening because I'll explain other options afterward. If you don't already have NordVPN, we do have a link down in the description below to get signed up. So what you're going to do first is go ahead and open your NordVPN app if you're not already signed in. Once you're on the main dashboard, look for the settings icon. It's usually located in the top right corner of the app window. Click on it to open your settings menu. Once you're in settings, you will see several categories. Look for the section labeled something like split tunneling or VPN settings. When you click into the menu, you'll see a toggle to enable split tunneling. Go ahead and turn it on. After you enable it, NordVPN will give you options depending on your device. Most often, you will see a screen where you can add apps that you want to either include to the VPN tunnel or exclude from the VPN tunnel. If you want to only protect specific apps, you will choose the option where only selected apps use the VPN. That means only those apps will be encrypted. Everything else will not go through NordVPN. If you want the opposite, meaning you want everything to stay under the VPN except one or two apps, you will choose the mode where you select which apps bypass the VPN. That means only those apps run outside the VPN tunnel. Once you pick your mode, choose the apps you want included or excluded. For example, select Netflix or your banking app if you want to bypass the VPN for those. When you finish choosing apps, confirm your selections. After that, go back to your main NordVPN screen and connect normally. Your chosen split tunneling settings will automatically apply, and that's all you have to do. After that, NordVPN silently handles the rest in the background. Now for Mac and iPhone users, just an important note. If you're on Mac or iPhone, you might not see split tunneling inside the NordVPN app. Apple has different rules for network routing on its devices, so NordVPN does not offer native split tunneling on Mac or iOS at the moment. If you're on Apple, let's talk about a few workarounds instead of leaving you stuck. One method is to simply turn NordVPN on only for the browser you want to protect. For example, use one browser for private work and another browser for normal streaming. You can also run NordVPN on your router if you want all devices protected, but still choose certain apps to run local. So yes, Apple users can still split traffic, it just takes a different strategy. When you should not use split tunneling. It's also very important to know when to avoid it. There are are certain times when you want your entire connection secured. If you're on public Wi-Fi like an airport, hotel, cafe, or shared network, you should stay fully protected and avoid using split tunneling unless you absolutely need to. Public Wi-Fi is one of the easiest environments for cyber threats and data sniffing. If you're entering sensitive information like tax documents or private business logins, it's usually better to keep the VPN fully active. If you're traveling abroad and you want your location hidden for privacy reasons, it's definitely better to keep the VPN running across all apps. So think of split tunneling as a convenience feature, not something you always need to leave on. Use it when it helps, but not as a default habit. Now, how to know split tunneling is actually working. So after you turn it on, a good way to check everything is working is to connect to NordVPN like normal and then open one of your apps that you excluded or included. For example, if you excluded Netflix, open it and play something. If the app behaves normally and loads a library tied to your real region instead of the VPN region, you know split tunneling is active. You can do the same with your online banking app or any other app you tested. Another simple way to confirm is to visit a "What is my IP address" website using the browser that is supposed to stay under the VPN. And if it shows a VPN IP address while your excluded apps act normal, everything is set correctly. It doesn't take long to check, and once you know it's working, you don't need to test again unless you change your settings later on. Now, when split tunneling really shines, I want to give you a few everyday examples because once you see how flexible this is, you're going to start noticing opportunities to use it. If you watch streaming content from one country, but you want to browse another region with privacy, you can split your apps. For example, your streaming app can stay outside the VPN while your browser runs inside it. If you work remotely and use company tools, but you also shop or browse social media during breaks, you can protect your work traffic while keeping the rest faster and local. If you love online games and want the fastest ping possible, but you also want privacy at the same time, you can let your game bypass the VPN while your browser stays protected. If you connect smart home devices on Wi-Fi, you can keep them off the VPN to prevent connectivity issues while your personal activity stays secure. Basically, the feature gives you control instead of locking you into one network mode. Now let's go ahead and talk about the different plans and pricing options of NordVPN. If you want to check out NordVPN yourself while I'm going through this, you can use our exclusive link down in the description below. They also have a Black Friday deal going on right now as well, so we're going to go ahead and click get the deal. Okay, so they've got a couple different options here. You can go with 1 month, 1 year, or 2-year plans. I'm going to go ahead and go through the 2-year plans because that's how you're going to go ahead and save the most. You can save up to 78%. So we're starting off with the basic plan. You can save 75%, which brings it to $288 per month. With this plan, you just get the VPN. I also want to add too, with each of these plans on the 2-year plans, you get 4 extra months free on top of the 2-year plan, and you also get a 30-day money back guarantee. Then we've got the Plus plan, which saves you 74%, which brings it to $3.75 per month. You get everything in the basic plan, but you also get anti-malware and browsing protection, ad and tracker blocker, and then a password manager and breach scanner. Then you've got the complete plan, which is saving you 74% as well, which brings it to $4.72 per month. With this, you get everything in the Plus plan, but you get 1 terabyte of cloud storage. And lastly, they have the Prime plan, which you can save the most, which is 78%, which brings it to $6.64 per month. With this plan, you get everything in the complete plan, but you also get Nord Protect. So this is advanced identity protection against cybercrimes, monitoring alerts, and robust insurance coverage. If you want to look at these in even more depth, you can go ahead and compare the plans down below as well. You'll see everything in even more detail, like the coverages amount and everything in between. Before we wrap up, I just wanted to talk about some bonus tips to help you get the best results with split tunneling. One helpful approach is only split tunnel when you need it. If you don't need it for a certain day or task, go back to full VPN mode so your privacy stays consistent without extra thought. Another tip is to test your speeds after choosing apps. If your streaming or gaming feels smoother, you set it up well. If something feels off, you can always adjust your settings or switch which apps are included or excluded. Another good tip is to restart the app after turning split tunneling on. A quick restart helps everything sync properly so there are no surprises. And lastly, if you travel often or move between different Wi-Fi networks, double check your split tunneling settings occasionally just so you know what traffic is actually secured. Now let's talk about some pros and cons. So starting off with the pros, split tunneling with NordVPN has clear advantages. It lets you keep your privacy for the tasks that matter while still enjoying fast speeds and problem-free access to the apps that don't work well with the VPN. It also gives you flexibility instead of forcing a one-size-fits-all setting. That makes your connection feel smoother, faster, and more tailored to what you're doing. A potential downside is that if you forget which apps are excluded, you might assume they're protected when they're actually not. This is why it helps to only exclude apps intentionally and check every once in a while. Another limitation is that not not all devices support split tunneling, particularly some Apple devices. So your options may vary depending on your system. But overall, it's a very powerful feature and most people find it extremely useful once they understand it. Okay, so should you use split tunneling? Yes. If you want both privacy and speed and you like having control over your connection, split tunneling is definitely worth learning. It helps you with everyday streaming, gaming, banking, and accessing local devices. It's especially useful if you want to use your VPN a lot and you want to avoid constantly turning it on and off. If you only turn your VPN on occasionally or you use your device mostly in public places where full privacy matters, you might not need to do it often, but it is great to have when you want it. Split tunneling is one of those small features that makes your VPN experience feel smarter and more seamless. Once you try it, you'll notice situations where it helps all the time. Split tunneling gives you the best of both worlds, strong privacy when you need it and pure speed and convenience when you don't. I hope this really helped you to understand not just how to turn it on, but when it actually makes sense and how to use it confidently. If you want to check out NordVPN and get access to their Black Friday sale going on, make sure you use our link in the description below. I do want to mention that these are affiliate links, which means we may earn a small commission at no extra cost to you. So if you do choose to use our links, we just want to thank you so much in advance for supporting our channel. This channel is here to make online privacy and security tools feel simple and approachable. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And of course, leave any comments or questions below. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.